It's Do Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Do Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday we were shaking the Monday morning blues, and we got to talking about those traits that if they are missing in a man, your man, no amount of how much y'all get along will save that relationship. Okay, and the first thing we talked about was honesty. See, here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out how, if you're missing any of these traits, y'all getting along so well. See, the premise is for this particular list is, okay, there are traits that men need to have, and you supposedly are getting along so well. But when these particular traits are missing, then there's no saving this relationship. Now, my question is, without honesty, which is the first thing on their list, how are you having such a great relationship? I'm still trying to figure this out. How does that even work? Because we know that without honesty, there's no way in the world you're going to be able to really have a decent relationship, because you'll always be wondering if, he's even telling the truth. And there's nothing worse than you sitting back wondering, everything he said to me, you picking through it. That is the most miserable feeling ever. So yeah, we agree that if there's no honesty in the relationship, it ain't happening. There ain't nothing that's going to happen. No matter how well we get along, it's not going down. It ain't going to stay there forever. It's going to have a short shelf life. The other thing they brought up was caring. You want a man who's caring. Now, there was something on the table yesterday that said that when he went into the relationship, he didn't care. And then there was something else put on the table. Well, he may have started off caring, but after a while, if you became a nag or just things weren't going right with you, then he no longer cared. So, yeah, that is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. We talked about the lack of understanding. We talked about the paternal instincts. Yeah, if he's not a good dad, then it's not going to work. It's not going to work, because you're going to constantly, well, if you're a decent woman, we ain't talking about these women that we have on these, these news stories. But if you're a decent woman and you're finding that you're parenting and he doesn't have good paternal instincts, chances are your relationship will not work. We talked about chivalry, whether he's opening up the door, whether he's being considerate or not, and things like that. Yeah, that's another challenging one that Pastor KL is putting out there, that, people aren't taught. So therefore, you don't look forward to it. You're not going to get it. Well, here's my thing before we move on. My thing is, listen, no matter what he's missing, this is why God said, don't pray for your man. God said, pray for the man. Pray for Johnny. Pray for Marcus. Do not pray for your man, because see, when you pray for your man, you're going to pray that he has paternal instincts. You're going to pray that he has, that caring spirit. You're going to pray that he's honest. No, because it's jaded. You want him like that for you. But if you pray for the man, if you pray for him, period, guess what? Then he's going to be the man that God wants him to be, whether he's a dad, whether he's your man, whether he's the co-worker, whether he's the employee, the employer. It doesn't matter. He's going to have these traits. So ladies, remember, just pray for the man. Pray for the man to have these components and you'll be all right. All right. Well, we had the switch with Shantice yesterday, and pray God comes for you was the switch tip yesterday. And I got to tell you another practical switch tip that she handed down to us. She talked about, hey, being caught up to meet him, being ready, when God sends Jesus back. And listen, I'm going to stretch that thing because I believe she touched on it. Listen, you want to pray that God comes for you, period. You want to pray that God comes for you because even in this state you are in right now, because you want to be brought out of darkness into his marvelous light. You don't want to be left out. Okay. And here's the blessed part. The initial coming for you is going to happen. It's probably going to happen 150 times until he decides that he's just going to take his hands off. Because God does not force himself on any life, in any life. So pray that God continues to come for you, but you're going to have to bring something to the table, and you're going to have to show God that you want him to come for you. Okay? All right. Well, listen, go back to yesterday's episode and listen to the switch tip for yourself, because it's her switch tip and it was dynamic. All right. All right. Well, today is Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. And this is our first Tuesday in the month of March. Time is flying by. The month is just going. So listen, catch up with us. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's due time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
Where you got Christians who think this is not necessary. That is a demonic doctrine. Nah, I don't care. I'm about to get in trouble. You got people say, I love Jesus, but I don't need the church. I love Jesus, and he and I got something going on, but I don't need the church. If the church is his body, then how do you love him? You can't find no doctrine in the New Testament that give you license to be solo. He calls all of his children to community because he does his best work in your life through the sanctifying work of community. Rubbing you, coaching you, loving you, disciplining you, training you, breaking you, building you, comforting you. He does his best work through community. But because we live in a radically individualistic society, you have Christians all over social media who say we love God, but we don't need the church. You have been deceived.
Good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. And it is Let's Talk About It Tuesday Church Folk Day. Oh, we coming back to that. That's the topic for today, Shantice. Get ready to play that PSA later on in the episode. Yo, that was powerful. I don't know where she goes to get these PSAs. I'm mad because I did not get these PSAs when I was providing them. Oh, she's doing a fantastic job. All right. We are saying good morning to one another. So if you're in the room, make sure you check in so that Pastor Steph will know that you're out there. Let's say good morning to Your Highness, King Terrence. Good morning. Missed you yesterday, my brother. You left Pastor KL out there all soloish, and yeah, he was struggling. Oh, we got a check-in from our girl Ketty. Hey, Ketty. Thank you so much for joining us today. Oh, we got our girl Lily in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Lily. How are you? We've got TK out there. Good morning. Thank you for checking in. We've got Arcelia. Thank you so much for checking in. A good morning to you. Make sure you hang out. If this is your first time with us, make sure you hang out with us and see what goes on It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. All right, we must say good morning to the ladies who hold it down for us each and every day. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Good morning. We might be seeing Shantice in a little while with Pastor Vinny and Pastor KL, and we look forward to it. And we're going to say good morning to our girl Anika. Hey, good morning, Anika. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we agree with you, Kenny. Great PSA. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, you know what we do on a Tuesday morning? We get our little trivia going. And this morning, we got some marriage horror stories from not one of the set, but both of couples who said they didn't even make it an entire year before calling it quits and getting a divorce lawyer. Wow. Let's see what they got going on, because I did not really read anything. I was married for less than a year to a woman who professed her undying love to me after only a few weeks of dating. We got married, then less than a year later, she said, Jimmy's back. I never loved you anyway. Whoa, I just married you for security. Wow. I sat at a table at the wedding with 3 guys the bride had dated within the prior year. Oh, okay. Well, why was that your problem? This is supposedly from the couple, so I'm trying to figure out why this is your problem. But, all right. Caught her in bed, airtight, and both hands full with a woman. Whoa. With a woman. Wow. It was 6 months in. Oh, my. Wow. A former roommate, they were college sweethearts who met at a stereotypical summer job where they spent every waking minute together. Think camp counselor, lifeguard, something like that. Their relationship grew strained when one went to a high-powered graduate program and one didn't finish college. And they ended up reconnecting. There goes the marriage. Okie dokie now. Okie dokie. All right. Discovered he was cheating with the same woman before and after the wedding. Kicked him out after 7 months. Wow. My husband's childhood friend was getting married back in 2004-ish. My husband and I were still dating back then, and I had only known everyone for a few months. I was only supposed to be one of the bridesmaids until a fight among the women in the family happened. It was bumped to maid of honor, and the groom's sisters were dropped as bridesmaids altogether. It was a Catholic wedding that was annulled about 4 months later when she cheated on him. Wow. Okay, I think I want to come back to that one. No, I don't know if I want to. I found messages from her to 2 different men she knew, trying to convince them to come where we lived and kill me. Also found out that she was cheating on me with someone local. What? Oh my gosh. So again, we go back to, well, what was going on during the dating process? You didn't know that these people were psychotic at all? Oh my goodness. He lost his job and became paranoid that I, who was working, was cheating. My job was about a 20-minute drive away, but if there was traffic, it took me 30 minutes. I was interrogated about my whereabouts. All of this took place maybe 3 months after we got married. We weren't married much longer after that. Oh, more stuff went down, but yeah, going down, going down. We got a check in from Miss Grace. Good morning, Miss Grace. Thank you so much for joining us. Glad to see that you're on the side of typing this morning. Giving God thanks. So thanks for checking in. We're talking about some horror stories that went on with some couples that said they didn't even last a year and they were on their way to the divorce attorney. Wow. She pressured me to open up the relationship so she could date women. And this never came up before y'all got married. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. Nobody's holding on to this kind of stuff these days. If they don't come out and say it, something is revealing it. Somebody's slipping up. Something. I did the work of wrapping my head and heart around being in a one-sided poly relationship and actually got to the point of being happy for her. Then she caught feelings for one of them. I thought he meant when he got happy for her, he left her. Oh my gosh. Then she caught feelings for one of them and decided she didn't want to be married to a man anymore. It was especially horrible because the relationship was very happy up to that point, and she pulled this at a time when we happened to be working very closely on a project I couldn't bow out of. No, it wasn't. Because the relationship was very happy up to that point. How could it be very happy when she was having a heart for women and she didn't want you? No. We need to, Shantice is always pulling out the dictionary. We need to pull out the dictionary for these people because somebody needs to define the relationship was very happy up to that point. So, I want to sleep with other women. No. Something was going on. You had your eyes closed. You weren't paying attention. All of the sirens were going off. All of the flags were in the air. And you were not paying attention. I'm sorry. No. I had a coworker who got married to her college boyfriend, came back from their Caribbean honeymoon, and a month later, she told us she was pregnant. Everyone was happy for her until later that week when I saw her crying coming out of her boss's office. I found out later that that day that she was indeed pregnant, but with another guy. A guy that would bartend our office parties a couple of times a year. Apparently, they were having sex through her entire engagement and 1 month of marriage. She ended up getting a divorce and trying to make it work with the bartender. Let's just say it was weird at the next couple office parties. They didn't seem too happy together. No, because now they got a baby between them. See, it's all fine when you partying and you drinking and ain't no babies. You happy. You real happy. Up until then. Yo. Wow. Not me, but an acquaintance. His wife sat him down the day they came back from their honeymoon. Apparently, she had met someone at work some months before, and flirting ensued. She said she thought it was just cold feet, so she kept going forward with the wedding. She chickened out on calling it off the day of, even though this was apparently when a light went on and she knew she didn't want to be with him. He's a good sport about it and takes solace in knowing it was all her. He married a wonderful lady later and has a gaggle of kids. We know what side of the fence that's on. Ex-wife and random dude dated for a while but did not stay together. Surprise, surprise, surprise. You know, we've been reading what they call couples horror stories. And unfortunately, a lot of this stuff was going on before they even got married. And that's what makes me really realize that the flags were there. How are you dating the bartender and sleeping with him, but and there's no indication of this? None whatsoever. How are you flirting with somebody else? You get all involved, and she is doubting whether she should get married or not. She chickens out, calling the wedding off. Do you realize what kind of turmoil you're in when you're trying to figure out whether you should get married or not? It shows. But what are we doing that none of this stuff really catches on to the fact that people say, you know what, hold on, let's pump the brakes. Let's not get married. Let's call it off for a little bit. Just let's make sure. I don't get it. I don't get it. Because all of these things are indicating signs. They're not, none of these things, well, maybe one or two, came with they were married and then later somebody had an affair. Most of these things are things that started with, them dating or engaged or whatever the situation is. So I'm really trying to figure out, where were you? I don't get it, especially the one where I found messages from her to two different men she knew, trying to convince them to come to where we live and kill me. You don't realize she hates you so much she wants you dead? There is no indication of that. Nah, I gotta talk to my pastors about that. So I'm gonna get started on my news, because I gotta come back to that one. I gotta really come back to that one. What are we talking about in the news today? Well, we talking about marriages going bad before the marriages even get started. And ladies, gentlemen, let me tell you something. These cell phones gonna get you killed. These cell phones in the relationship gonna get you killed. Trust me when I tell you. So you got this woman in Texas. She and her boyfriend, clearly, because they're not married. She's Terriana Johnson. And she's now facing some serious charges after she has an argument with her boyfriend inside of their home. Now, there was an argument over this phone, okay? And they say that they got to arguing, and when he looked up, he was in the shower when she walked in yelling at him and came out with several knives in her hand. Several knives. Now, you so good, you got several knives, or are you so scared you need several knives? I was trying to figure this one out. But they say she walked up on him, arguing, yelling at him, about her phone because he took her phone. And it doesn't say why he took the phone, but she says, I'm going to cut you if you don't give me my blankety blank phone. Well, he called himself grabbing some bed sheets, to kind of shield himself, but that didn't work because she cut him on the arm. And then he ran to the neighbor's house for help, where he called the cops. And when the cops got there, she claims that he took her phone and pushed her around. And they said they didn't see any marks or bruises or evidence on her that indicated that he physically assaulted her in any way. But he told the story that she stabbed him when he took her phone, but still nobody said why he took the phone. And she claims she didn't have a knife. She had scissors in order to cut the sheets that he had in his hand. Yo, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Well, she was arrested, but then released on a $10,000 bail bond. And she's going to have to go back to court. Yeah. Over a phone. Over a phone. Here's my thing. Why you couldn't wait till they went to sleep? Wait till they go to sleep and then you get all the phone you want. But what happened that when you took her phone, you needed that phone so bad that even when she came out with 3 knives, you didn't give her back the phone. Because I'm sorry, you could have had that phone back. You could have that phone back. That phone ain't worth my life. She went to stab him, and she stabbed him in his arm. And thank God he's not dead or really injured over a phone. These phones and these relationships, I don't know whether she was in the phone and he thought she was doing something wrong. She was on the phone too much. He took the phone. Yes, absolutely, Terrence. A pair of scissors is still a weapon. Terrence says she was cheating. Can't wait till he sleeps. She might delete. Oh, okay. Yeah, she wants to delete all the evidence. You're probably right, Terrence. She's probably right. Don't want him to get in the phone. So, yeah, but, these phones, I didn't see these phones cause a whole lot of problems, but stabbing is not one of them. Oh, all right. So we talk about these trifling people who go to the restaurant and they claim things are one way. Because you never been to a restaurant with somebody and no matter what they do, the server, they always try to do something to get out of tipping or paying the bill. Well, this went down out in Sydney, Australia. So you have this family who was visiting Australia from Ireland, and they went to this restaurant called Pony Dining the Rocks. That has to be an Australian restaurant because that don't even make sense. At least the restaurants in America make sense. Pony Dining the Rocks. Well, so they say that this family came in, had a wonderful time. They ordered the restaurant's most premium offerings, including a nearly 4-pound tomahawk steak, plus entrees and drinks, bringing their total to around $600. After the meal, they say that they started complaining about one of the meals. Now, they have footage where they show one of the men reaching underneath his arm, pulling out a strand of hair and placing the hair onto the plate when he was finished. So the manager says that they have all of this on tape. And he also says that the hair that was on the plate was blonde. And nobody in the kitchen at the time had blonde hair. Oh my gosh. So here's what they did. So they started giving the server a hard time. And the more the server talked, the more the manager talked when he came out. They started making all of this noise. They started refusing to pay, raising their voice in the dining room. So you know what happened, right? Oh, the wife breaks down in tears, and she's um blaming them for having a horrible experience. And after everybody starts looking, they end up waiving the entire bill. Yo, nah. Here's the problem with that. They say that when the word got out about this family, all the restaurants started complaining that they had this same family in their restaurant. Yeah. And when they started comparing the footage, they said it was the same family. And they started getting like what do you call it? Like contact information somehow, but they claimed that the contact information was fake. So they were never able to catch on to this family before they ended up leaving Sydney. Yo. So I just served this entire table. And because there's a strand of hair in one plate, you gonna cancel the whole. No. You would pay for something. $600 you would have paid for all of this, and we would have taken that off. Yeah. No, I mean, come on. Yeah, Terrence says people always trying to get over on someone or someplace. Yes, this is what they do. This is what, and they have mastered this thing. They've mastered doing this kind of stuff. They went through Sydney doing it, where the people were complaining that they've been to our restaurant too, and had done the same thing. Wasn't the hair, but ate, started complaining, and got away with the check. Yes. If they're that hungry, go to free lunch from the school. I hope the cops catch them. Well, listen, here's the thing about it, Terrence. They're gonna get caught. They're gonna definitely get caught. You're not gonna get away with this forever. Nobody gets away with anything forever. So eventually they'll get caught. All right, so tell me what y'all think of this one. They have out in Florida, now they have this thing where whatever your children do, they are now charging the parents. Yeah, they're holding the parents accountable for different things. So you got this father in Florida, Richard Seymour Ferguson. And the story is, he let his son, he's 69, he let his 15-year-old son drive a car that killed a grandmother and her 3 young grandchildren. And grandma was 50 and grandchildren 11, 1, and 9. Now, they say there were 5 occupants in the car, but the grandfather survived with serious injuries. So they say that this dad allowed his son and 3 other unlicensed teens to drive that particular night, even moving a pickup out of the driveway so that the boys could leave in the Chevy Impala that they ended up crashing into this other vehicle with that killed these people. So they took him to jail. They don't say what happened to the 15-year-old or the other people in the car, but they take this 69-year-old to court. They go to trial and he loses. He gets 37 years. But check this out. That's not the worst of the situation. Come to find out, he's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And he's going to jail for 37 years. Now, they don't say whether he's like going to get treatment before he starts this jail sentence, but the judge did say that, this was a heartbreaking story, that he, has cancer, and she wishes that she could let this go, but she can't. So she sentences him to 37 years. Now, do you believe that they need to let him go because he wasn't the one who actually did the killing? He was not in the driver's seat. Or they should hold him accountable and he should have to do these 37 years. Let me know what you think, because I'm gonna find out from from a Due Time crew. I'm definitely gonna find out from them. So Terrence says, I don't like that law due to if we want to beat the mess out of our kids, we can get arrested for that. So I don't agree. Let them pay for their own stupid acts. And Ketty says, they'll get caught. You can't keep eating free. She's talking about the other story. I agree. I agree too, Terrence. I agree that you don't want me disciplining my kids. You don't want me to beat my kids. You don't want me to, do anything, because now that in your eyes is abuse. So I can't discipline my kids, but if they do something stupid, I go to jail for what they do. Here's one of the problems with this particular case, because I do agree with you actually. Here's one of the problems. If they said that he moved another vehicle so that these kids could get the vehicle out of the driveway to actually go drive it, then that's a whole different story. But the other issue is he claims that he only moved it so they could back the car out. Really? And you really think that these kids are not going to drive the car? Why would you even put them behind the wheel to back the car out? So already there's an admission of guilt. Your admission of guilt says, I let him drive. So now you're going to control what he does? Nah, that ain't working. Nope. So that was dumb. That was dumb, and dumb. All right, let's talk to Pastor Vinny, see what he's got to say about some of these stories. Good morning, Pastor Vinny.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well this morning. Doing well.
Good.
Enjoying a little sunshine out here today.
Nice, very nice. Please tell Pastor Brenda we miss her. Give her our love.
I will.
Thank you so much.
Today.
All righty.
Poor baby.
Well, I know. Poor thing. All right. So let's talk about a couple of these stories. Do you believe that this restaurant should have comped the entire bill? Or since the hair was only found in one plate, they should have just comped that bill, that part of the bill, but made everybody else pay.
I don't agree that they should have comped the whole meal. Let me start there. And I mean, I'm sure that you've gone to a restaurant and you can point out who's going to be acting up. This couple sat by us. You know, there's a whole big restaurant, and they're gonna sit by us.
Lucky you, right?
Lucky us. And you know, I told Pastor Brenda, I said, "Oh, here it goes."
Yeah.
they had the look on their face like they are ready to start something. You know.
Okay.
And sure enough, you know, as the meal progresses, oh, she don't like this, she don't like that. Oh no, I don't like, no, can you change this? No, can you? And by the end of the meal, you know, she was just fit to be tied. She didn't want anything. Everything was terrible. Oh, why did we come here in the first place?
Wow.
I want to speak to the manager.
Wow.
Ridiculous. Just
wow.
And it's a game for these people.
Yeah, big time.
They set out to get over. They didn't come to the restaurant to eat or have a good meal or whatever. They came here to get whatever they could get over with.
Yep, absolutely.
So even if one meal was comped, they're still getting over.
Yeah, you're right.
They're still getting
You're right.
over.
That's right, Pastor Vinny.
Why give them that whole a $600 meal?
Yeah.
$100. So even the water was bad?
Yeah. That's why I said it. I agree with you. That's why I said it was extreme.
Yeah.
Listen, if you claim that you found hair in one dish, then comp the dish.
Comp the dish.
But I don't care how much noise you make.
Mm-hmm.
How much? But listen, let's get the expert on for this particular topic, and let's see what she says. Good morning.
Good morning, pastors.
Good
How
morning.
are you, Shanti's?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. All right. So listen, you are the expert in this situation. So you got this family who come, they order up all this food, they eat $600 worth of food, and then lo and behold, at the end of the time, you've got them complaining that there's a hair found in their food.
Mm-hmm.
Do they customarily comp the entire bill?
Yeah. All right, so here's the thing. It depends on the manager on duty. If you have a manager who is the typical punk, then yeah, you can wear him or her down, mainly him. Because if it's a female manager, you're going to have a real fight on the end. You're going to wear him down after a while, and he'll comp the whole thing off. And then you, the server, get approached by their higher-ups once those numbers hit the system. Once that transaction hits the system, they immediately come pull you, knowing that as a server, you have no authority to do anything like that. But see, they're not going to go to the manager first. They're going to come to you and ask you what happened because they're already ready to take the manager's head off. So now you get to be a part of the lynch mob. Right? Because that means that server was out of a tip. So that server pretty much just for free. So the server's already ready to take the manager's head off, literally, like not metaphorically, like literally, like it's time to fight. If you have one of the few managers who really don't care, which I've only worked with maybe 2 of them out of my whole 12-year career in the food industry, they're not only going to pay for all the other plates, they're going to end up now paying for the meal with the hair because you tried to get them to take off everything else.
Wow. Okay. I like that kind of manager, Pastor Vinny.
Oh yeah.
I love it. So on the norm, unfortunately, like you said, they start all this boo-hooing and crying. And right before you said it, Pastor Steph, I said watch, because that used to happen all the time, especially at Cheesecake Factory. You come in and complain, you found a hair, you saw a mouse running around, all this, right? All this to get out of paying the check. But then why we see you ain't here next week?
Yeah.
Why are you back? You should be ready to burn this restaurant down the way you were complaining. But you came back because you figure that because you were a problem the last time, they're still going to take care of you the next time, even without you not finding anything. So these are professional people that do this because they know. They know it's only a matter of time before I can get a free meal or meals. And then I can go back there and do it again. And what they're crazy about is they don't understand that just because I'm a server, meaning I work in the front of the house, and they're cooks, they work in the back of the house, we still get to communicate. So we see you walk back up in here, you don't think that a nasty server is going to now go tell a cook to do something to your food? And if the cook is nasty too, we can team up and get this done. You're not very smart.
Wow.
I say wow too, Pastor Vinny. I say wow too. Let's get Pastor KL on and see what's going on in Ted about this situation. Good morning, Pastor KL.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning, my brother.
All right, thanks. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little frustrated because I have to eat croissants instead of chicken. But, it's okay.
You know what? As long as you ain't chewing in the camera, enjoy whatever you got going on over there. All right, so you got this story of this family who's got the entire $600 bill comped because one plate supposedly had hair in it, but they said that they have footage of the man reaching in underneath his arm, holding his arm up, reaching, pulling his hair out, putting the hair on the plate. Should he have, let's say they didn't have the footage, let's say that this was the case, should they have comped this entire meal, or should they have only comped that particular order, that plate on the bill?
Well, for me, because I'm in management, I look at stuff a little differently. Yeah, you want to make the customer happy. However, you sat there and ate $600. You knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing. You was buying stuff that you couldn't really afford. Just because you knew that this was going to happen, this was the outcome. So, a lot of stuff, you got to look at it from that point. I get a lot of customers who, sometimes come and we forget to take off last week's sale. So, they still see the tooth or whatever. And we give it to them, because that's our fault. But then they come back looking for it again. And then when it's not there anymore, they say, well, every time I come here, there's a problem. And my response to that is, yet you keep coming. If there's a problem, every time you come, and yet you keep coming, you're one of those people who like abuse. Who like abuse. I don't understand.
Well, that's kind of the point that Shantice just made. You so unhappy, but yet you back here again. That don't make no kind of sense. That just kind of proves that you got something up your sleeve. And Terrence says, I say the manager is a punk due to the fact that he already saw that he put the hair in the plate from his sleeve. I say, okay, no problem. I just call the cops. They didn't see the footage until after they left. They didn't. I guess he didn't think to, look at the footage prior to, them leaving or while this whole dispute was going on.
I would have charged them for something. This way I had a credit card record. And then once I saw the footage, I'd have sued you.
Makes sense. You could have got your money.
But you end up eating. The restaurant ends up eating that money. So forget the footage. Even if you didn't see the footage, you're willing to eat $600 because one plate out of at least a party of 4, that was at least a party of 4.
Yeah, it was a group. It was
10 person, right? So let's just say it was a cooked hare. That one dish, you're willing to eat a $600 bill. Do you know how much money? So to us, it's only $600, but that's $600 plus the food.
right.
It's not only $600 to them because you still talk about condiments. You still talk about everything else. Like no. Mm-mm.
So let me put it in these terms so people can understand. So when a shoplifter comes to your store, and let's say they stole this $600, it's not $600 that I lost. It's now $1,200.
Right.
Because my system still thinks that I have $600 in my store.
Mm-hmm.
So if you walked out with $600, I've lost $600. My system still thinks I have $600. So now when I do my inventory, that $600 is no longer there either. So I've literally lost $1,200.
Wow. We getting some real inside scoop here today, y'all. Wow.
And then if you have a ghetto server, you know it's more than that because now you got to figure out how to tip this server. Because see, people like that, they run the server around. They didn't only become a problem at the end when they found the hair. They kept wanting refills before they finished the drink. They want to know if ice comes in the drink. They want to know how much everything is. They want to know how much the filet mignon, how many pounds is a filet mignon. No problem. And I think it was Pastor Benny, I think, who said it's like you can eyeball a lot of the times. When you serve enough guests, as soon as you see them at the host stand, you walking up to the host stand like, do not sit them at my table. You automatically can tell who's going to be a problem and who's not going to be a problem. So not only now does the manager have to now face the higher ups as to why they've lost $800+, but now they got to face the server because now the server done invested time in it, and now he or she wants they tip.
Right. And that was the other thought. When you comp the tip, when you comp the bill, you comp the tip as well. So what are you saying to the person who's actually done all that work? Because if they've got $600 worth of a bill, that server had to work. That ain't no easy.
Yeah, $120 tip. At least that they should get
20%, right?
Yeah.
So how you telling somebody that they didn't work and now they get nothing? They get nothing.
So Shantice,
yeah,
I got a question for you. So does the upper management, forget about this manager who comped it, does the upper management do right by the server, or does the server just lose?
No, that's one of the reasons why they go to the server, because they want to make sure that the comp wasn't because of you. Because if it was because of you, now that's a whole other conversation, a whole other situation.
Wow.
If it was, so if it was you and you can completely exonerate yourself, they will. Now, so like at Cheesecake, what they would do was they would go to the baker and tell the baker, give her XY, because this has actually happened to me before, but they didn't complain. But a manager chose so I forgot what they called them. So pretty much like the superintendent of Cheesecake, his family came in, and instead of the manager just taking off a certain percentage, he's wiped out the whole bill.
Wow.
And and because of that, there was no tip, but the family still tipped me. So the next day he came in looking for me, and I was already looking for him, because when I came in the next day, they told me I had to give the tip back. And I said, that devil is a lie. Where's he at? I didn't have any tables for like the first 2 hours of my shift because I was looking for him. And he was like, oh, Shantice, I'm looking for you. I said, well, I was looking for you. So now that we done found each other, let's talk. Forget these guests here. Because I'm not giving them money. I'm not giving no money back. So they will come and speak to you, and if everything was good, they will. However, that restaurant has to work it. So in that case, they would just go to the bakery and they would fill something out real quick. You would sign, the management will sign it, so that now because that's the only register that's in the restaurants, is if there's the bartender or the bakery in cheesecake, situation. Other than that, there's no registers in there. So that their register doesn't come up short when it's time for them to cash out. They'll see that $120, $200, $50, whatever was taken from them to compensate for X, Y, and Z. But if all checks out and the server did what they had to do, they're gonna have to take care of you, because you're not gonna leave it alone, because you worked for that.
Right.
That's our money. We don't get paid hourly, so everything affects your tips. So if you now decide to do this, then that's fine. You can let them walk out. Just know that you tipping me out your check, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You really can't, you comp the whole bill. Now, if you don't make right by the server, now that person feels slighted because they've actually worked. And again, you talking about a $600 bill, that's some hefty work going on there. You better believe you didn't work for that $600 bill. Mm-hmm. All right. We got Terrence, who says, I would have posted the whole family's picture all over. Serge is checking in. Good morning, Serge. How are you? Terrence says, great one there, Pastor KL. We got a check-in from Joseph. Good morning, Joseph. And he's quoting Proverbs 16:4. The Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So you're not going to get away with, you may get away now, but you're not going to get away with it forever. Know that. Before we move to our main topic, I want to talk about this last story here, where there was I asked the opinion of the room. Terrence is the only one who's actually weighed in. Thank you, Terrence. And there's a dad in Florida who let his son drive the car. So he claims he moved his pickup truck in the yard so his son could back the car up. Son took the car with 3 other unlicensed kids at the age of 15, drove this car, crashed it into another car of 5, killed 4 of the passengers. So now they have arrested, charged, and sentenced the father of the 15-year-old, 69-year-old, I think he's 69 years old, Richard Seymour Ferguson, to 37 years after they found him guilty for 4 counts of manslaughter. They then find out that Mr. Ferguson has stage 4 cancer. So they make this petition that he doesn't do the time, and the judge says, I'm sorry, I feel sorry for Mr. Ferguson, but this was, some real bad situation here, and he was the cause of it, and I'm going to sentence him to this time. Even giving him a couple of years, I would like to drop the years, but I did drop the years. I'm giving him 37, and I'm sorry if he has stage 4 cancer, but he's going to have to go inside. So, Pastor Vinny, do you feel that he should have been, that 37-year sentence should have stayed, or they should have waived it, or whatever? What do you think should have happened? He's already 69 years old. If he has to do 37 years, he's not leaving the prison at all anyway. That's 40 years on 69.
Right. Yeah, he should do that time. This is all laid at that father's feet. A 15-year-old kid with his buddies going to run the streets in my car. If he had said no, or if he said, look, let me take you guys where you want to go, none of this would have happened. What chance did this family have? None.
Okay.
It is almost like he gave his son a rifle, a gun. And go shoot up this car.
Okay.
I mean, that might be a little extreme, but this is actually what happened. What chance did this family have? You know, they didn't know that this kid was being unleashed on them or in the streets. No, he gets what he gets.
Okay. Pastor KL, what say you?
I'm in agreement. I don't know who says it. You or Santis, but in one of y'all verbiages, y'all say, make a conscious decision.
Mm-hmm.
He made a conscious decision.
Yeah.
You know, when he allowed this child to drive around with other children. Yeah, he got stage 4 cancer, but you put this family in their last stage. They didn't have a 1, 2, 3. They went straight to stage 5, and they died.
Yeah.
So yeah, I listen. I think you should do life, but you know what? With stage 4, you might be doing life.
No, well, he was already doing life with the 37 years. He's 69 years old. He has to.
Oh, he's 69. Okay.
Years. Yes, he's 69. So with a 37-year sentence, he ain't coming up out of there. Yeah,
that's right.
He's gonna do life. That's right. All right, Shantice, what say you?
Call me insensitive. That because that was just like, what? Okay, so I'm a father. I have a child. I know my child does not have a license. I give you the keys, or I give you the okay to go drive. And now I'm so taken aback that anything has happened. Why do you think, sir, that people under the age of 25, especially males, the insurance is higher?
Mm-hmm.
That's with the license. God forbid you live in the Bronx. You might as well buy one of the MTA buses and drive that. Okay,
watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth about the Bronx.
I was born in the Bronx. It is what it is. Okay, you might as well buy an MTA bus and drive that. That'll be cheaper than your monthly insurance. God forbid the color of your car is red, or anything that they feel will pump your adrenaline while you're driving.
Mm-hmm.
They factor in all of these things, not just because they want to make money off of you. They want to try to serve it as a deterrent from you driving stupid, driving reckless, because God spared your life. You will make it past the age of 25, which will already bring your insurance down some if your driving record is clean. Because if you've been in any accidents, especially if you've been in at fault, if your name goes down as at fault on that, when you go to get insurance again, you really might as well buy a subway train and drive that, because it is so much cheaper. And I know people whose insurance has been crazy. Men, this is how I'm able to say this. So for you, sir, a man who knows what it is to have a young man with legal credentials drive with the proper credentials, you would then in any way say, okay. And now he done drove reckless because now his adrenaline is pumping. I get to drive and I don't have a license, so it doesn't. He wasn't even smart enough to drive cautious because I don't have the proper credentials. So I don't want to draw any attention towards me while I'm out here on the streets. Because if I get pulled over, it's a wrap. That's over. You were driving so reckless that you didn't only cause an accident, you caused people their lives. Because you were an accomplice, father. So now are we really all that surprised that they're now making him an example? Because we, just like the gun was brought up, we've heard too many stories about these kids being able to do things because of the parents' negligence. If the parents start having to serve time, the crimes are going to start going down with these kids. because now parents are going to make sure I'm clear. If you do something stupid, it's going to be able to be 100% on you. Just like Pastor Kale asked, well, do you get compensated as a server if something go wrong? That's why they come to the server first, because they need to exonerate you. I need to be able to say, I ain't got nothing to do with this. If I'm not able to say I ain't got nothing to do with this, you need to go down. Why? Because you are aiding and abiding. You are no different than the person who sits and plans the murder, but you pay them to go commit the murder. Actually, you're no different. And I mean, it's sad he's already old and sick, but you knew better, sir. Don't you have a license? So yeah, it's like, dang, that's crazy. You're gonna spend the rest of his life in jail. But it's like it was brought up, but now this family is torn apart. It's done because of what you promoted and allowed. So
yeah, this is, you know, unfortunately, it goes past aiding and abetting. You set the stage. You set the stage. You moved the pickup truck, which already says that he couldn't move the pickup truck.
right.
So you moved the pickup truck, so in your words, he could back the Chevy Impala out. Why would you put that gun, as Pastor Vinny said, in his hand? Because that's exactly what you did. When you told him, oh yeah, God, you know, yeah, I'm gonna let you back it out, you were just telling him, you were giving him license to drive. Plain simple as that. You can't now come back and talk about how, oh, I didn't know he was gonna drive altogether. Because he was driving all together when he backed out. Ain't that driving? You just going in reverse. So, you know what? You are definitely responsible for this. And unfortunately, you didn't think about the fact that this could be the result of your carelessness. And because you didn't think about the result of your carelessness, now, guess what? People are burying other family members. And you know, your stage 4 cancer gonna have to be treated from inside the jail.
Yeah.
And you know how that's gonna go. You know how that's gonna go. That ain't gonna go, because they don't care nothing about you, and they're not gonna make sure you get your cancer treatment. Please, these people can't even get aspirin, but you gonna get cancer treatment.
Water,
Yeah.
you need water.
Right? They've had people dying because they didn't get their regular med. You really signed a death sentence when you let that boy get behind the wheel of that car. And I agree. Now that they are really making sure, and here's the thing, now that they've done it to the people on the other side of the fence, they cannot say it's just black people anymore. Because they've been doing it to both sides. So I'm very happy for that. They have definitely, these kids with these rifles, they've held several sets of parents responsible. Now you gonna go down as well. Terrence says, but this situation, yes, this man has to go to jail, even if he has cancer, because he let his kid get the car. He said, okay, go ahead, knowing he didn't have a license. All right. He says, you're right, Pastor Vinny. It's the same thing like a loaded gun. And Terrence says all his insulin gonna be delivered to the jail. Yeah. Yeah, he's done. He's completely done. Unfortunately, it just really begs to, pay attention to what's going on. It really does. All right. I had something, and I want to talk about it really quickly because we do have time. There is a story, and I'm sure some of you have heard about this already. If I could get this up. Out in Arkansas, you have this woman who shows up to her lover's apartment, shoots him dead, and then turns the gun on his wife and shoots her in the shoulder. And Latasha Daniels, 46 years old, she's been sentenced to serve the next 2 decades in prison for second-degree murder of 36-year-old Pastor Brodus Perry. What's with these pastors who, oh Lord. So the story goes, he met her when one of them was at the other one's church. Somebody went to somebody's church, and I gotta tell the story the way it is, because when I read part of it, I was like, really, y'all? Okay, so he was the head pastor of Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church in Memphis, Tennessee. So she met him through some ministry work at her local church out in Little Rock, Arkansas. He agreed to counsel her after she confided in him about her marital issues. By the second counseling session, they were already sexually involved. What kind of conversation? You visit her church. What kind of conversation goes on when she confides in you that she's having marital issues? You agree to counsel her, and by the second counseling session, y'all already sleeping together. So she tells the story that during this affair, this went on for a year, that he bought her expensive gifts, he took her on trips, and he paid for her membership at a high-end cigar lounge that he frequented. She said that he grew manipulative and controlling. She divorced her husband of 8 years to be with him because he pressed her to divorce him. And in turn, he was supposed to divorce his wife, but he remained married and told her that she and the wife could be sister wives.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
So they said that they still, he would still visit her in Arkansas, and things began to escalate towards the end. They say that she attempted suicide after he grew cold toward her rather. And when he talked about, he talked her out of committing suicide. But right after that, he texted her and suggested that they end the affair. Well, she was gonna go kill herself again at some local park, but she passed the exit to get to where he was in Mississippi.
It was a divine mistake. A divine appointment.
So she took the highway instead of going to commit suicide. She took the highway to Mississippi and showed up at his apartment and fatally shot him and turned the gun on the wife and shot her in the shoulder. Oh, Lord, have mercy. So Pastor Brenda is hanging out with us, and she said, Lord, that's a whole new meaning and level to Christian mingle, straight manipulation. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. And Anika says, predator pastor. All right, Pastor Vinny. If this ain't you can't make this stuff up. Straight out of that. Can't make this stuff up. What you got for us, Pastor Vinny?
You can't. You cannot. I mean, listen. It is. You can't make it up, but it's more common than you think. It's more common than, look at this good-looking guy You know, handsome looking guy. But the problem is, it's all in his head. It ain't in his heart to do the Lord's work. It's in his head.
And somewhere else. Somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'll say it for you, Pastor Vinny. I'll say it for you.
Thank you. I mean, it's
annoying. You don't even know what to say.
It's about stuff, man.
He is so distraught. He like,
this is a can of Fraganackle Bull. This is a can of Fraganackle. It's a doggone shame.
A can of Fraganackle Bull. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
It's a shame. You know, why we can't just do right? why we can't just do right? You know? And so she missed her exit, but she had a loaded gun. She took the loaded gun with her.
Yep.
It's not a mistake. It's a willful action. It's a willful action after another willful action after another willful action. So you got one dead, you got one injured. Well, at least she didn't kill herself, I guess. We should be thankful for that.
Yes.
Who's thankful?
We are, so we can ask these questions. I want to write them.
Surely not the pastor.
Oh my! Right. I guess if he had a way to think, he would. He would have wished he got to that park first before she passed that Mississippi entry. You know, that entry onto that highway. Oh, Terrence says that's some good counseling. I guess seems like it worked. Pastor Brenda says, "Say so, Pastor Steph." Hey, Adele. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Adele says, crazy. People are opportunists. However, she's a foolish and weak woman, pretty much with no standards. Yes. Pastor Brent says she saved the wife the anguish of the divorce. Yeah, I guess so. I guess the wife will get all the money now. She ain't got to go to court for it. Shantice, what you got?
I don't want to go to nobody's church who's on Mississippi Boulevard.
Why does she, and you know what, I gotta ask you, Pastor Vinny and Pastor KL, why does Shantice always end up there? Wherever the there is, she always ends up there.
Because when I heard the location, it was just a little concerning for me. Like, I was like, oh, can you come to my church? All right, text me the address. I don't know how I feel about Mississippi Boulevard. I don't know. But I guess if you're from down there, it don't matter. But it's just a little concern. It just brings back a lot of civil rights stuff. It's like, you know, I don't know. But this was a plot from the beginning, like Anika said. And by the second time we talking, we sexing, you had this on your mind.
Right, from the very first time.
Right, from the very beginning. The only reason why it didn't happen the first time was because you had to fill me out to make sure I ain't no snitch. To make sure that I was down with the cause.
Right. That's
the only reason why. Yes, that's the only reason why it didn't happen the first time. I don't know about, like, it didn't give any details from what you gave us, Pastor Steph. You're pretty thorough when you give these stories. As far as where were you, First Lady? Because see, you're not counseling, and I don't know, maybe I have to have my own meeting with Jesus. But if I'm married to a man, which I would be because I ain't gay. But I'm married to a man, and you're a pastor, and you're I have to make sure I said it because it's like it's an option. No, And you're calling yourself counseling. No, we're counseling. Because see, I'm a woman too. So even, it's like we get into God and we just act like we don't know nothing. Listen, ladies, before you walk in the church, you're a woman, right? So even as a woman, and I'm a single woman right now, when a man acts like he wants me to confide in him, already I'm like, back up, bro. Who you attached to? Why you want to know my business? Why you want to know? First of all, there's responsibilities to when I share something with you. See, this is what people don't understand. I now confide in you. You have a responsibility as to now give advice, console, and that's relative. Because see, his definition of console was in that way. You ain't gotta console that way. But because that was your game from the beginning, that's what you chose to do. Where were you during these counseling sessions? Because why was
he during the first conversation?
But that's what I'm saying. Because as soon as you come, oh well, babe, honey, how did he address her? Sister Nancy said, she wants a counselor. Oh, so what time we gonna be there? Or I ain't saying nothing. You go to sit down with her. You look, oh, what you doing here? I'm already sitting there next to you. We're talking to her. Because see, there's not going to be any room for this to happen. And unfortunately, there's too many opportunities left wide open for this to happen. So it is very, and now you get shot and you don't know nothing, but now you get shot and watch her shoot your husband and all. It's just too much. But I really feel like if you're not the type of first lady that's already on it, and I've heard of some first ladies that don't play that. So it is possible that you can make room for God to use your husband the way he needs to, but you still on it as well. Because for some reason, men like to act like they real stupid when it comes to them, but let a guy offer you a pen to sign something, and now they passing out. I never understand the concept. I never understand the concept. Yeah, well, this was just real unfortunate. Well,
I got some other questions that I'm going to ask after Pastor KL speaks. But Pastor Brenda says, Pastor Vinny and I counsel together. I don't look good in an orange jumpsuit.
And I don't look good dead. And I don't look good dead.
Pastor Vinny says, and I don't look good dead.
Go ahead, Pastor Brenda.
Go ahead, Pastor Brenda.
Yes.
Just make sure you mark your territory, because these chicks are out of their mind. Pastor KL, what say you?
I don't even know if anything else can be said. I mean, this is why the Bible says, lay hands on no man suddenly. Because you can wind up dead. You got to be careful. Know them that labor amongst you. I'm not understanding, this type of Christian counseling. I mean, what are you telling? What biblical reference have you said that now we're in the bed? You know what I mean? What's the reference that you've given to convince me that now I need to take off all my clothes? You know what I mean? In the book of what does it say it's getting hot in here? Take off all your clothes. And what book is that? You know what I mean? I'm just not understanding how we get there. And then you say, let's be sister wives. So if you say, let's be sister wives, have you gone home and had this same conversation with your wife that we got a new sister? Are we all part of this? And then the other question is, now you don't want to commit suicide, but you'll commit suicide by killing me because now your life is gone. I don't understand this. And why do you shoot the wife who has nothing to do with this? Wait. Why do you shoot your sister? Your fist away. Wow.
She was getting away. As long as she was alive, she was still in the way.
Oh,
He
God.
said, why do you shoot your sister?
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so Adele says, way too much for no reason. Pastor Brenda says, Pastor Vinny knows what time it is.
That's right.
Okay, so I had a series of questions, but those questions are no match for the last set of questions. My questions seem quite trivial in comparison to the big questions that have already been put out there. But I'm reading this story and I'm like, okay, wait. How we get so this man frequents this church. He's a pastor, and he's a pastor from Mississippi who is consistently frequenting the church in Arkansas. I ain't going with him to find out why you always in Arkansas and you a pastor in Mississippi. I don't understand that. So what were you doing when he was visiting Arkansas?
Where were your antennas?
Right, that's what I'm saying. What were you doing? Okay, so you may go visit one time, but the second visit, we're visiting. You're not visiting on your own. We're visiting because I need to see what the attraction is. I need to see why one church keeps sending you to the opposite church.
But Pastor Steph, that is a 6-hour drive.
Wow.
No.
Oh, yeah, it's not close. It's not close.
That is a 6-hour drive.
So
without traffic.
One way. One way.
Without traffic. Without stopping to get something to eat. All that 6 hours.
Y'all are something else. He said one way. So, okay. So you done took this 6-hour drive, not once, twice, 4 times, 9 times. And I don't bother to travel with you to find out why you keep frequenting. Why? Let me tell you what was said to me quite a few years ago. There was a woman whose husband was a preacher. He was a preacher. And she said to me, when my husband is preaching, I don't remember why she said this, but we were talking and she said, when my husband's preaching, I stay in the back of the church. So I just looked at her. And she said, why are you looking at me like that, Miss Griffin? I said, because you out your mind. I said, your husband's preaching and you where? I said, girl, you better be sitting up front with your fan and your handkerchief and anything else you got, waving him everything he says. I said, what you doing in the back of the church? Why? Why are you in the back of the church? And it was some, I really don't, want to be I said, you know what? They plan to give away your husband. Because they're not sneakily doing any of this. While you sitting in the back of the church, somebody else is sitting in the front of the church, waving her panties, her bra,
licking her lips.
Yes, I did. I give it up, Pastor Vinny. I said she waving her panties, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm saying it nice on the air. All right, her bra, kissing at him, batting her eyes, and all of that. While you sitting in the back of the church, giving him away. Ladies, what are you doing? How is this man taking a 6-hour drive and you don't accompany him after the first time? Cause see, I need to know why they need you so bad. And we live in Mississippi. We about to relocate. We about to move the family down to Arkansas. And something must be going on because you ain't constantly going nowhere like that for 6 hours one way, like you said, Pastor Vinny. No. Something going on past you going over there to preach. Or they must be paying you some big money. Well, where the money at?
Yeah.
Because I want to see the money. So that was my first question. Where were you when he was driving back and forth? And I didn't even know it was 6 hours. Okay, because you going back and forth because it says in the article that he constantly was going back and forth. So my thing is, I'm thinking it was maybe about an hour drive. I had no idea it was 6 hours.
She wouldn't have been the one with the gun. 6 hours, child.
So that's an overnight stay.
Right.
Automatically.
That's an
Right,
overnight
Pastor
stay.
Vinny. Because you're not going there, preaching, fellowshipping, and turning around and coming back in 6 hours.
No.
That's not happening. That is not happening. So I agree with you. That's an overnight stay. So now I really ask this next question. So you were going to kill yourself at the local park. You saw the entry. You saw the entryway to the highway to Mississippi, and you decided to take a 6-hour drive. That's a whole lot of determination that you're going there to kill somebody. So you probably killed him because you was mad that you had to drive 6 hours to get that off your chest. I mean, come on, Shantice, tell the truth. When a woman's mad, Pastor Vinny, the worst thing you want to do is put her on hold. The worst thing. Ladies, y'all let me know if I'm wrong. If I'm mad at you, you done pissed me off. Now I gotta wait to talk to you or wait to see you. You got a 6-hour drive.
There's so many hostile situations that produce from that one. But my question is, so we creating scenes now to kill ourselves? What happened to I want to kill myself, bam, I'm dead? We now got to set the mood and pick the setting. And I'm not gonna kill myself on Mississippi Boulevard. I'm gonna kill myself at the Marriott. Like what are we already? That was bogus. You ain't gonna kill yourself. People who kill themselves, people who are determined to kill themselves. If I gotta kill myself with this mouse, I'm gonna figure out how to get this done right now, because right now at 8:34 a.m. I'm ready to end my life. I'm not gonna wait until Pastor Steph says, I love you, go to the store, get a coffee, take the Long Island Railroad to Penn Station because I don't like Grand Central, walk up the steps, sit outside of Madison Square Garden, get on the 4th step, and then say, it's time. What?
That's why I keep saying, instead of you going to the park, you found the entryway to the highway. That's because you were never going to the park.
To the park, right.
The park on Mississippi Boulevard.
But especially when Shanti said 6 hours. I really knew right then you weren't going to no park.
But Pastor Steph, that just
wait 6 hours.
But that emphasizes when you say, what were you doing? I wasn't married to the man, and the first thing I did was, what is the distance between Mississippi and Arkansas? I'm waiting for my husband to come and tell me you got a counseling session anywhere that is outside of the range of 20 minutes.
Right.
We don't need you that bad. He, she, the cat, the dog. No. If they gotta wait 6 hours for you to get there without traffic, whatever distress they're in, it's gonna heighten. Now you too tired to be at the level they need you to be, because you done drove 6 hours. So how effective were you? And we don't have no driver. Now, unless there's some hidden account where you paying somebody to drive you, so now you all that alert, somebody's in distress, but they wait 6 hours. Because again, I say, whatever turmoil I'm going through in my life, if I go to Pastor Steph and I say, I need some counseling. She said, you know what? I got the person. But once he booked this flight and get here, flight. What? I'm not waiting for the video to get to New York from Florida. I know what he did, what I was going to do. No, that makes no sense. It's like we gotta stop getting into God and then start acting like we ain't got no brain cells. It's like, come on. No.
I'm telling you.
No.
I'm telling you. This upset. There were so many questions. And once you said 6 hours, the questions flew through the roof.
Yep.
There is no way on earth you telling me you sit. Let me tell you something. When your husband becomes a pastor, you got to start buying a gun from then.
Woo!
Start taking karate classes. Start hiring your personal investigator. No, Adele, your it must be your Wi-Fi because we seem to be pretty good over here. We're not getting any glitches over here. But you understand what I'm trying to say, because that's the way the women give it up now. Now we talk about the predator men, but the women are just as trifling. The women are just as trifling. They it's not men alone. Let me tell you something. He didn't rape her. By the second counseling session, it was sexual. There was no pushing or prodding. They both had that on their mind from the very first conversation.
Yes.
So she's just as trifling as he is. He is just as trifling as he is. Both of them. They're nasty. And now you have this whole fiasco because she can't separate because she didn't left her husband, but you won't leave your wife. You're stupid because you thought that he would. Mm-hmm. He's a pastor. Part of the prestige is being married, you dope.
He's a pastor who's 6 hours away.
And he gonna leave his wife for you? You're a dope. You're a straight dope. Pastor Vinny, Pastor KL, I'll give you a chance to walk this thing out because Shantice and I have definitely talked enough. Pastor Vinny, what you got to say on the way out of here?
Just say no. Just say no. Repeat after me. No. If she had said, Pastor, no.
Right.
He will get back in his car and go back home 6 hours. Go cool off for 6 hours.
Yep.
You know, that's it. But once you got enjoined, because you know the sexual act, it don't start in the bed.
Right. That's right. And this proves it, Pastor Vinny. This proves it.
It doesn't start in the bed.
This proves it. This proves it, Pastor Vinny. Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
Straighten out, like Pastor Brenda, straighten out his business. You're both on your feet. Because
he's like Pastor Brenda.
If you let the devil ride, you don't want to drive.
Go ahead, Pastor Vinny. I like that one. I like that one.
Let the devil ride, you're going to want to drive.
Wow. Pastor KL, what you saying for us to get up out of here today? What a church folk segment.
Hey, what he said on Def Jam at the end? Thank you, good night, and goodbye.
Thank you for coming out.
Right.
Have a nice night.
Listen, because this is crazy. You know, I'm with Pastor Vinny. Just say no. You know, it says every time I try to do good, evil is always present. So you could have really wanted counsel. Let's just say that. You know, and then the enemy got up in your mind, you know, and then, you know, the pastor was for it. My thing, you know, I heard y'all talk about this 6 hours. So that's 12 hours. You not with your husband. So are you not praying while he's out? Because if you were doing your job, he couldn't do what he was doing. You know what I mean? So you got 12 hours And then let's not forget the time that we got to stop and talk to this woman. Because now we just not getting back in the car and coming back home. There's too much stuff missing in action. And it's either I'm just happy he gone. Well, if you happy he gone, then the relationship ain't all that anyway.
Right.
You as the wife, now watch this. You as the wife got shot for no reason because you should have been gone.
Right. That's right.
So we keep on staying in positions that God has not put us in. And we stay in there because of what you said, Pastor Steph, because of the face of the brand. Part about being a pastor is to have a wife. That's the face.
Yep.
But if you got the wrong one, you still got the wrong face.
Yeah.
So here we are in church, out of position.
Yep.
And everybody is mad because they fighting for a position that God has not approved for. So you got to wait on God.
Yeah.
You already had a husband. You chose that Negro. So now you want somebody to come and talk to me about how he can be better. Really? And because you're not pleased with him, then you'll be with him. And then you fall for that. I'm gonna divorce him because I know I got a good thing over here. No, you ain't got nothing over here. He's still attached.
That's right.
Right.
If I got a lease at a house, the only way I can be with you is if I break my lease. And ain't nobody paying all that money to break no lease.
Right.
Amen.
Amen.
And the church said, amen.
And in response to your sermon, Brian says, "Hey, Shanties."
Just like the devil. Just like the devil.
You preaching your head off. Brian says, "Hey, Shanties."
He ain't hear nothing I said. He gonna be the next shot pastor.
Oh man.
I am so mad. Oh my goodness. Hey, Brian. Oh my goodness. Pastor Brenda says, tell him, Pastor Vinny. And while she was praying, P-R-A-Y, he was praying, P-R-E-Y.
Yeah.
All right. Pastor Brenda says, dead pastor said, I can show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my goodness gracious. Thank you. So my Due Time crew, thank you so much for your contribution into today's conversation. This was some crazy church folk segment. Thank you so much.
I don't think it's over yet.
Nah. I got to figure out what else is going on in my closing. Oh, my goodness. Have a blessed day, everybody.
Love you.
Have a good day.
Love you, too. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Wait, Pastor Vinny, just nod your head. Wait, hold on. I gotta nod your head, Pastor Vinny. Is there prayer tonight?
Yes.
All righty. All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you. All right. Oh, wait. Put them back on. Put them back on, Shanti. Tell them the information, Pastor Vinny, please.
We'll be on the air tonight from 7 p.m. to 8. You can get on our web page. It is 106.3 FM. www.1063fm. And they / prayer 911 Daytona.
All righty. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pastor Vinny. We'll be with you tonight, God spares. All righty. Oh, my. What a tangle web we weave. That's all I kept thinking about last night. Boy, all this stuff that came out from the panel today, I would have never even anticipated. I have not laughed that hard here for a while. All right. Thank you. Pastor Brenda just put in the chat room their Prayer 911 Daytona information. They have a dynamic prayer ministry that comes on Tuesdays from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, that information, thank you, Pastor Brenda, Pastor Vinny, is in the chat room. Okay. Pastor KL talked about the position you're in, and just being out of alignment with God. And anytime, and I mean anytime, we are out of alignment with God, we will always miss the mark. It may not cause us, it may not be a matter of life and death in this particular circumstance. But anytime we're out of alignment with God, it will cost us. It will cost us. It's going to cost us a great deal. And this is why you have the petition from us each and every day to try Jesus. Because we're out thinking that the stuff that we do, we're good. Now, somebody might say, yeah, you want us to go to church and it's the pastor. That's the pastor and his relationship with God that he has to worry about. That's not my fate. That I have nothing to do with that. We need to be on guard. There's one side of it, like I said a little while ago, there's one side of it that says, he was praying on her. He looked for, when they pray, they watch little signs. And, here you have a visiting pastor, because that's exactly what he was. You're in Arkansas. He's coming from Mississippi. So he is 6 hours. He's a visiting pastor. How do you manage to get to the visiting pastor and tell him about your marriage issues? That's because something was already on your mind. Something was already on your mind. First of all, I ain't talking to no complete stranger about nothing. I'm just real funny about that. Now, when you have targeted a person who you don't have never before, who you may not ever been, and you start telling them, how did you even make your way over to him? To start saying, well, you know what? Hi, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And, we're talking for 5 minutes, and then I start telling you about my marriage. How does that even work? And then we talk so much that we go into, I need counseling. Or you talk so much that now he offers, well, I counsel from a distance, from afar, from 6 hours away, because that's exactly what's happening here. So nobody's picking up on anything. So you as a pastor don't have the discernment that she's just worked her way over to you. Let's say this is one side. She just worked her way over to you, and now she's praying on you. You as a woman of God, you don't have the discernment to pick up that as you're talking, which I say she started this whole thing, as you're innocently talking, he's now praying on you. Because let me tell you something. Like Pastor Vinny said, if this ended up sexual by the second time you two were together, that means that when y'all were first talking, when she made her way over to you, you made her way over there, y'all met in the middle, whatever happened, that was already on your mind. Be very careful of. The enemy cannot get in your head. That's the one area that he does not have access to. And he can't get in your head. Can you imagine the battle that would go on if he's in your head? But the temptation is there. Okay, so the word of God says, so you try to figure, well, Pastor Steph, they say, you could transfer spirits and things like that. The word of God says that once you are filled with the Spirit of the Lord, that the two entities cannot dwell in the same place. Hands off. So that's why we always say that Spirit of the Lord is a gift, a bigger gift than you could even imagine. Because there's no transference of spirits after you have been indwelled with the Spirit of the Lord. But that temptation by the enemy is still running high. So both of you, both of you allow the temptation of the enemy and your flesh and spirit, because the enemy can't be blamed for everything. The enemy can do all the tempting that he wants to, but the Bible also tells us that there is no temptation that is uncommon to man, but that God would give a way out. Let me say it for you again. There is no temptation that is uncommon. So let me break that down for you. So any temptation that exists, first of all, you ain't the first one. You won't be the last. That is uncommon. This stuff is going on all the time. This thing is going on all the time. You ain't gonna be the one that's, we gonna make this new for Stephanie. No. But that God would give a way out. Doesn't say God gives a way out sometimes, or God might give a way out, or he skips every other. He does the evens, not the odds. He does the odds, not the even. No. There is no temptation unto man, uncommon to man, that God would not give a way out. You can always get up out of it. Always. But it's our nasty flesh and spirit. This is why you cannot put everything on the enemy, because God has given you a way out from the enemy. He says, I'll always give you a way out. It's you got to worry about. You can't run from you. No matter where you go, you take you everywhere you go. So guess what, my brother and my sister? You in trouble. You are in big time trouble when you do not stand true to who God says you need to be. And listen, temptation is what it is. It's going to draw you. It's going to be there. It's coming in strong. It's coming in heavy, especially if it's something that you're accustomed to and you're always falling prey to it. It ain't got to be that heavy for some people. It's got to be heavier for others. But God's got you. God has got you. But guess what? You've got to hold on to God. You can't stand there and let your flesh and spirit do whatever it is that it wants to do, and you going on with the temptation, but God's got you. Because remember, we're free agents. God is going to allow us to do whatever it is we want to do. Now, are there times God will step in when we're just stupid? Yeah. But again, we're free agents. We don't know when God's going to step in there, when he's not. So what you going to do? Keep on stepping up into the temptation all the time? Come on. Let's pay attention. Let's pay attention. We saw a lot of different areas of flawed behavior, absenteeism. Like Pastor KL said, he doing some other things that the wife, was she disinterested in the husband? So when he went, Pastor Vinny said, you got to be spending the night out, because that's too far to be doing some round trip just for some counseling. I don't know, counseling session, 1 hour, 2 hours. That's more than your traveling. You got 6 times more in travel time than you do in counseling time. You ain't sticking around that long to do no counseling and then turn around and come back. You could do a video call for that. So we know you're meeting personally, person to person, in order to get something else accomplished. Be smart. Ladies, cover your husbands. As Pastor KL said, cover them in prayer. But I'm sorry, faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. If you covering him in prayer, but you're not covering him in body, nah. First of all, if he's taking a 6-hour drive, you need to be on that drive. You need to be on the drive just because. What happens to the assistant in the driving? He needs somebody to help him drive, keep him company. If he's honestly going to Arkansas every so often, and that's a 6-hour drive, it must be something important if it's not this nonsense going on here. Why aren't you accompanying him? Why, again, my question is, why are we going to Arkansas? What's going on over there that's 6 hours? Why are we going over there all the time? Are they priming you, or prepping you to now become the pastor over there. Now that's something we need to look into. What did God say? There's a lot of things that this just were missing from here, boy, especially when I heard that distance. There were a lot of good points made here today. Pastor Vinny, Shantice, and Pastor Kale made some excellent points here today. And you know what? We need to pay attention to all of those things. We laughed and we really had a good time here today, but there were some serious things on the table. Some serious issues and questions on the table. What happens to you covering your wife while you running back and forth to Arkansas? What happens to you covering your wife? You should not cover her when your eyes and your body is in some bed with some other woman. You're not taking care of your business from home, back home. So everybody was out of alignment here. Everybody. Because I'm sorry. You couldn't have told me nothing that would have had you running back and forth to some Arkansas 6 hours, and I would have been like, oh, okay, babe, see you when you get back. No, that just wouldn't be going down like that. So let's get our due diligence in check, and let's make sure we're doing the things that God really needs and wants us to do, because this stuff is important. This is not this ain't light stuff. And look, and let me show you why it's not light stuff. Because look at the end result. Clearly, she was unstable. That's not just because of him, because she already had some issues going on. That didn't develop when he came along. Whether he prayed on her or not, she had some issues, some emotional and mental, spiritual issues going on that existed prior to her meeting him. Because if not, how you end up in the bed at the second go round? Nah. That ain't all on him. So for her to show up, remember now, she claims she was on her way to the park to kill herself. She had already threatened. Excuse me. Let me tell you something, men. Let me tell you something. And I would even say for women, because men do it too, but women are very, very, very known to do this. When you want to break up and she starts talking about, I'm going to kill myself, it's time for you to go. But see, let me tell you something. We talked about this earlier this morning when I did the trivia about the couples who weren't married for a year but who found themselves at the divorce attorney. Those red flags were there. Her instability, her unstable mind was already there. See, you thought getting her in the bed the second go round, she was all put together. No, idiot. That indicated, but you were so busy praying on her. It indicated that she was unstable to begin with, because she wouldn't have ended up in your bed. Second time you meet her, you could have gotten her to a hotel or in her own bed by the second go round if she were not already unstable. But see, you thought you could play Russian roulette. And when she said, I'm going to kill myself, you realize how serious it was. So now you want to back up and say, well, I think we need to take a break. We don't need to see one another no more. You thought that was going to make it better? Man, that makes it worse. That makes it 10 times worse. And what ended up happening? It cost you your life. And now that's your lesson. You won't even learn because you're dead. And now your wife ends up with a bullet in her shoulder. She could have possibly ended up dead. See, we think we playing with fire. We're going to get burned. And his burned ends ended up dead. So come on, let's get ourselves together and let's make sure we don't let this happen at all again. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and keeping that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give Christ your life right now. If you've already given Christ your life, please, as we saw, please make sure you strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Any time in that period, you can make one fatal mistake, one false move can cost you that very life. Until tomorrow, God spares. Where is Wow Wednesday, y'all? Until then, I love you.